Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Kickstart Profit Challenge. My name is Renee Marino, and I am a client and friend of Miss Cam Agarwal's. And I wanted to welcome everybody, first of all, and just say this. How amazing is it that we have this challenge right now? We are getting ready to learn to launch, to know how to build our businesses and have all of the information right here at our fingertips for when we're ready to launch, build our business from scratch, or scale, whatever it may be. This is the place. This is the information that is going to help us get there. So I want all of us, first of all, to put a smile on our faces, even if I can't see you, smile. Put the shoulders back, right? Because we know when we change our physiology, we get the energy moving around, and we want to be at peak state as we absorb all this information today. So, shoulders back, smile on your face, and I want you, even if if you can unmute yourselves and do this for me, I want you to open up your arms wide, and you're gonna say, yes, baby, we're doing this. So on the count of 3, I'll still do it by myself if no one does it with me. But we're going to say, yes, baby, yes. So unmute yourselves. We're going to keep the arms open wide. And we're going to say, yes, baby. The time is now. Here we go. 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, baby.
Yes, baby.
The
Time is now.
Well, all right, now I have a little song that's going to set us off. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it. Let me know if you do. If you can't, let me know. But this is Mr. Pitbull, and the name of the song is I Believe, because that's what it takes, believe. So tell me if you could hear this. Can you hear it? I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. Woo!
It's not how you fall, it's how you get back up, and what don't kill us make us stronger.
Yes, move that body, get the energy moving. Woo! Hey! Woo! Stand up if you can. Woo! Stay with me. I believe. I believe. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win. Woo! I believe that we will win. Woo!
We can lose a battle, but we don't win the war. I'm from the bottom.
That is what I'm talking about. It's my new favorite song, I Believe. Download it now. We should listen to it every day before we get on this challenge. So, take a deep breath. That was amazing. I want to introduce our fearless, incredible leader. No one has more faith and confidence and love for Cam than myself. So I just want to read her bio so you get to really know who she is. Cam is a savvy business growth and marketing strategist and a social media enthusiast. She's the founder of Small Business Hub, a digital marketing strategy, business education, and media buying company that helps small businesses broadcast their brilliance to the world. She facilitates Build to Profit, a mastermind and small business incubator where small business owners collaborate to create powerful, affordable, and scalable business solutions. Cam believes businesses can grow without massive capital investment and succeed with knowledge and automation. And they can do so with the support of the community and tools. That's why she has created a platform and community to brainstorm ideas, gain knowledge, and tools to help businesses grow. Cam is seriously one of the most intelligent, knowledgeable, yet humble people that I've ever met. So I just want to bring that to your attention as well. Just to tell you a little backstory, she was born in New Delhi, India, and immigrated to the US when she was 21 years old with $50 in her purse and a vaulting ambition to redefine her story and her success. She was one of a handful of women of color to work for the information technology department of various Fortune 500 companies. She has a strong understanding of business and of the people within the business ecosystem. She is a serial entrepreneur, real estate investor, and has experience of building businesses with a 7-figure exit strategy. Her passion is to provide entrepreneurs with resources and relationships they need to be successful in their careers, provide for their families, and have time to do what they truly desire. She loves being an advocate and a mentor for women, encouraging them to dream big and giving them the strategies and tactics to make those dreams come true. She's on a mission to help 1,000 entrepreneurs start, grow, and scale their business. We're part of that number. Woo woo! She lives in Edina. I don't know if it's Edina or Edina, whichever. Minneapolis, Minnesota, with her husband, 3 amazing children, and her fur baby, her dog Simba. Outside of work, she's an avid reader and loves to spend time with her family. On the weekends, you might find her curled up with her favorite book or exploring fun places in the area. So everyone, let's give a big, warm welcome. Unmute yourself to Cam.
Woo!
Woohoo!
Cam.
Thank you, Renee. That was humbling, and it's such an honor to have Renee kickstart Profit Challenge. Because a lot of you don't know, Renee is a celebrity. She is our own Jersey girl. She's been featured by the legend in a movie, and she's opened stages for none other than Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. So I'm super honored, and it's been a privilege to have her and to be working with her. So thank you so much, Renee. Give it up for Renee, everyone. Yay, Renee.
Love you, Cam.
Yep, so I'm tuning in from Edina, Minnesota, and Minneapolis has made it in the news a lot lately, but we are wonderful people here in Edina, Minnesota. Anyways, who is ready to kickstart profits?
Woo!
Seems like everyone is ready. Give me a little bit information on where are you tuning in from? I know we have folks from California, we have Oregon in the house, we have New Jersey in the house, and we've a lot of, I know that we have Canada in the house as well. So welcome everyone. And I wanted to kickstart with, I'm going to start my presentation here now if I can share, but I want you all to come up with this one intention. One of the biggest thing I feel that moves the business forward is simplicity. I know we try all the complex things. We think of the big funnels, the big messagings, the big things. We always start with big things. When we start about thinking about starting a business, we start thinking about, oh, well, I need a website. I need these big fancy bells and whistles to attract customers. That's how we start. But the idea is simplicity. So if there's anything that you can take away from today, simple makes big. That will be my key. So keep that in mind. Can you all see my screen yet? Yeah.
Yes, now we can.
Perfect. So today we'll be talking about profit essentials. And what I did was I asked a lot of you, what do you want from this challenge? And many said, I want to know how to start. I want to know how to sell more products. I want to know how to show up and build my social media presence. I want clarity on my Facebook groups. I want clarity on my offer. I want clarity on my customer journey and the tools that will help me navigate and connect with my customers through the customer journey. I want to attract more customers. I want to make profits and learn how to manage a business. There were so many amazing answers that came through. Some even said they wanted to learn sales and marketing. So give me in the comments, why do you believe like you're here, and what are your goals and your intentions for the business? And if you're watching this on not live, but on replay, do set your intentions and your goals for what you want to accomplish in these 5 days. Doesn't have to be something big, it could be something simple, but have clarity on what you want to achieve. And I want to ask you a question. You know what? We all know it's amazing, like the stats just speak for themselves. 90% of the businesses fail. 90% of them fail. And most of them fail when you ask them, why do you think you failed? Most of them have an answer that says, well, the market wasn't right. The conditions weren't right. I didn't have the right people with me. I didn't make the right decisions. The investments weren't right. You know, the timing wasn't right. So there's always these reasons we give why businesses don't succeed. But the number one reason, what I have learned by learning from masses and masses of celebrities and people, and you know, I've been on different learning experiences, and I've found is that it's not something huge. It's not the market conditions, it's not many other things, but it's the persistence of the business owners that makes or breaks a business. It's how their messaging is put together to reach the world. It's they need to know what is their bigger why. Why are they in the business? So think through it. I have put some 3 brand names out here, which everyone knows. And feel free to chime in. What do you think is the slogan for Coca-Cola? My team here can chime in as well. What do you think is one big thing that Coca-Cola is successful? Okay, I'll show
It's a
you.
really good question.
I know
They create an experience.
Okay. And what about Apple? Does anyone know how many Cokes were sold in year 1?
Very little.
Yep. 10 bottles in year 1. 10 bottles in the first year. And now they are a $1.8 billion company. $1.8 billion company. Apple in the last 30 years have become a $1 trillion company. It didn't take them that long. They just became so big and so huge. And I wanted to, let me stop the share here and see if I can share my browser. I wanted to share a video with you all. Just 1 second. You see that?
Yes.
Hey, it's 3 o'clock. It's 3 o'clock. इंतजार की आईना कुछ खबर मेरे यार की ये हमें यकीन कल फिर मिलते हैं 3 o'clock.
So I know it's not in English. I know it's a different language, but tell me if it made you feel something.
Yes, like going and getting one.
Yeah, I definitely just wanted some Coca-Cola and I never wanted.
How about another one? Let's see another
I'm
one.
good with water. How about you, Stephen?
Water's good. I just wanted to, I felt like I needed to go work out after watching that.
Exactly.
get the point. So what do you think Coke is actually selling? Are they selling Coke here?
You're selling a feeling.
They are selling a feeling, absolutely. And then and that's their slogan. They say, taste the feeling, because it's not about the product, but it's about what is the why behind it, right? So they're selling a feeling. Let's look at the other one. I'm gonna share my screen here again.
Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. But the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. And while some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
So what do you think they're doing there?
I think they're trying to inspire.
That was Apple, and Apple is a computer company. They could have easily said they are known for their amazing designs for their computers. They're also known for the ease of use of their computers. Anyone who's used a PC or got introduced to the computers way in the 90s, the way I did, could appreciate when the Macs came around or became popular, how easy it is. Like even my mom's on an iPad and an Apple all the time. So they could have easily gone with the message of, we make computers that are styled easy, they're easy to use, they're user friendly, but they went with the message of, we think differently. We challenge the status quo. That's why we connect with the entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs think differently. Entrepreneurs are the ones that challenge the status quo. Entrepreneurs are the ones that go in and say, we are ready to change the world. So what's the message out here? The message is, people do not buy what you're selling. People buy why behind what you're selling. So when you're building your messaging, today's whole focus is finding your why behind what you do and why do you do that, right? So we all know oftentimes what we do. That's easy. For Apple, they sell computers. For Coke, they sell sugary drinks, for the lack of a better term. But no, they went with the bigger thing. They went with, we help you feel the taste. We help you challenge the status quo and think differently. And we're going to look at another example of Nike. We can do that later. But that's the mindset that I want you to think of. And you should have with you your workbook that was emailed to you last night. So in this workbook is the plan of how we find our why. Like, we as business owners, it doesn't matter whether we are product-based company, whether we are knowledge-based company, whether we are a services-based company, it does not matter. Whether we are solopreneur doing services like real estate agents, it doesn't matter what you are, what you offer, as long as you can figure out your why, and all your messaging should focus on your why and not your what. What comes after? Why comes first? I'm going to start keep sharing this again. So these three are the rock stars in figuring out their why they do what they do. Oops, it's really fast again. Bear with me. So the number one reason businesses actually fail is because they fail to connect with the people at that why level. And why is that important? Is because people buy your why, not your what. People follow and believe in you. You can lead them. You can actually attract them if they start believing in your why. So that's the profit essential number one, know your why before your what. That's if you look at all these big leaders, what they did was they knew their why, and then they knew how to act and communicate based on their why. So just knowing it is not enough. You need to act and communicate based on your why. So how do you communicate based on your why? So if you look at this, it's very easy to say what you do. What's harder to understand is why you do what you do. That's where people fail. How you do it, like most people have a proprietary framework, they have their own method, they have a process that for services based, for product based too, they have a process, they have a way to make things happen. So what and how comes easy, the why is the hardest. And the thing about the what and the why is that the what is like this is directly aligned to our brain. If you think through, if we lead into the market with the benefits and the features, have any of you ever felt where the benefits and the features were given to you, but you were not able to, you just didn't get into the product because it didn't feel right? It didn't really feel right. Like, you know, I understood all the features, I understood all the benefits, but it still didn't feel right. So I didn't really go ahead with the purchase. And the reason is because the what and the how initiates the logical part of the brain. And most of the buying decisions, surprisingly, are not made by the logical part of the brain. They're made by the part of the brain that thinks and feels and controls all behaviors. It actually takes action and then uses logic to support that action. So if you're messaging, and this is like a very deep level thought, like if your marketing messaging can actually reach that feeling part of the brain of your consumer, then the what and the how will be easy, because you already triggered the feeling part of the brain, which is making all the buying decisions. And the interesting thing is that the language that we speak actually comes from the what and the how, because that's the analytical thinking part of the brain, and you're thinking before you're speaking oftentimes. But the decision-making part comes from the feelings, the loyalty, the trust, all those comes from the feelings. And that part of the brain actually does not control the language. That part of the brain just controls the feeling. So once you start focusing on your why, once you start communicating with the people inside out, so your marketing messages starts with the why and then goes outwards, talking about the logic, the steps, the features, and the benefits. That is where you're going to capture most of your market. But if you go from outwards in, where you start with what do I offer, and what is my framework, what is my proprietary method, and then figure out, well, why. And a lot of times most people's why, yes, I understand, we are in the Kickstart Profits Challenge, and the why oftentimes is, yes, I want sales, I want this business to grow and flourish. Yet if you have a bigger purpose behind why you want what you want, why you do what you do, because there are many other ways to make money, but why you chose this one, why you chose to be the crazy one, to start this business, to get forward with this, that itself, if you can connect with that, if you can connect with the bigger why, then you will not have those transactional relationships with your consumers, but you will have focused relationship with your consumers, because they're going to get attracted to your bigger why. not just your product and your service. And there you'll gain loyalty about it. And similarly, if you hire people in your business, if you hire them and their intent is just to exchange time for the money, they're going to work for you. Yes, they're going to produce, but they're not going to put in their blood, their sweat, their tears as equity into that mission of yours. And the biggest story of that is, I don't know if you know of the Wright brothers, but the Wright brothers were the ones who took off the first flight. And there was a man named Langley, I think Stephen Langley, and he had been known, he had been funded by the government. He had Harvard behind his back, the Smithsonian museums, the whole people behind his back. New York Times was following him because they thought they're gonna put money, everything into this project, and we're gonna have a flight takeoff. But the first person or the first people who did a powered flight were the Wright brothers from Dayton, Ohio in 1903. And they didn't have the power and the big B's watching them or the New York Times following them, but they had their bigger why, because they felt that they can change mankind if we could fly. They had their bigger purpose. They had a bicycle shop and they were putting in their own money. They were getting others to buy into their vision, and they were able to make the difference. The other big example is Martin Luther King. Why do you think people followed him? They didn't follow him because he was of course he's a leader, but they followed him because they believed what he believed. And he believed that, the rules should be made not only by the higher ups, by the people as well, the people who it's impacted. And everybody who believed in his belief showed up for him, not for him, but for their own belief. So if you have your why straightened out and people can connect with you at that why level, and your messaging can be inside out, that is the recipe for success. So again, profit circle, people don't buy what you do, but they buy why you do it. So start focusing on figuring out your why. And there are some questions in your workbook. In your workbook, there's some questions which will trigger those responses for you. And in the workbook, we talked about we believe, or we choose, or we refuse, or we embrace an idea. So start thinking about what is it that you believe in? What is it that you choose? What is it that you embrace? What is it that you refuse? I refuse to do the old ways of doing things. What is it? Like I embrace change. What is it that you choose? What is it that you believe in? And that is why you do what you do. And this is in your workbook, guys. You can start thinking through this and start filling that out. That's going to help you. So figuring out your why is one of the biggest thing in the profit essentials. So think through your what you offer, and why you offer what you offer. And this is the time for some shares. If you have thought through some of that, what you believe in and why you do what you do, and what is your what and what is your why behind. And I want to say clarity comes from speaking things out, even though it's somewhere in the subset of your mind. Start speaking these things out, because clarity comes from speaking it out. So if you have any thoughts on this, if you have been thinking through your why and your what, feel free to share. If there's anyone who's ready to share, I'll take it.
I think my what is, to teach people how to have a healthier lifestyle, but my why is impacting the lives of thousands of people that may not have a tomorrow, and with the change of lifestyle can live a long lasting, invigorating, empowering, and happy life.
That's a huge why, to empower people to live a happy life. It's a huge why. That's my goal. That's my mission, right? So have your why come before your what. The what will follow, but having the why and coming up with that one line, 2 line slogans. I believe this, and that's why I do this. I believe that I choose to do this because. So those are your big profit essentials for your own business. And here's the reason why you need to do that. So think through it. We're all talking market penetration. We're all thinking we'll go to the market and we'll make huge success, right? But here's the thing. If you look at the curve of how people buy, there's only 2.5 people who actually buy in the really early stages. And these are called the early adopters, the innovators and the early adopters, right? So very few people will buy at this time. 2.5% are the people who are innovators. These are the people when iPhone came out, they were in the line waiting for this new technology. Those iPhones were released in limited numbers. They were starting like huge lines, waiting. These are the innovators. These are the early adopters. I don't think they did it because of the iPhone. They did it for themselves because they believed or they wanted to be the first, to experience something first. It's the experience of being the first. That's why they did it, right? And then they're the early majority who wants some social proof. They want to make sure others have done this first before they're going to try it. And then there's the late majority who's always going to keep waiting. When everybody else has it, they want it. And then they're the laggards who will only change if something becomes unavailable. Like I used to have a friend whose dad would refuse to use external hardware or storage or cloud storage or anything. And he'll just go buy a new computer. Well, the new computer is cheap enough. He'll just keep buying new computers. So his computer is his storage. Until they stop selling computers, I think he's just going to keep buying computers and not use cloud storage or external storage. So there are the laggards, or there are those people who will still have a rotary dial phone because they're still available. And then the only reason they'll change is because if it just gets out of the market or it's gone, poof. So for you and your business to make a huge curve, like of course the biggest profit maker, if you see above, you need to have a high risk for tolerance in the first quadrant. That is while your product is taking off. Because when the early majority gets in, that's where you tip, like you start making profits, like right about in the middle of when the early majority gets in. So the way you get the innovators and the early adopters in is by attracting them with your bigger why, with your bigger mission, with your bigger goal, because they will raise their hands and they will be part of your mission and they will give in their sweat, blood, and tears to make your mission come true. So that's why having the big buy is important. And it's always important because you still want others to feel through their heart, I mean, we feel through our brain, but you know what I mean, like feel the feeling. The profit essential number 2 is messaging. Like I said, it's in the profit circle. You want all your messaging then should be tied to your big why. Everything, all roads should lead to your big why. All messages, all social media presence, all emails you do, all your website articles, all your blogs, everything should lead to the big why. So you want to have that inside out approach to messaging. And now let's talk about some tactical things. So we've talked about the emotional things. We know that we always anchor an emotion to a task, right? So on a tactical level, now that you've attracted them and they come to you, you need to have some additional foundations in place. And some of those foundations, and the biggest one I say is having a profit ladder. Having some kind of a profit ladder, having some kind of bundles. Like I know if you're in the product space and you're listening it, you need to have some kind of a bundle, some kind of a way to upsell into your people. So that is a huge, huge thing that needs to be in place for your business. So you know your why, you know your what. Now let's structure your product and an offering in a way that there's a strategic way to build this relationship on an ongoing basis, not just transactional, but a relationship that can progress over time in an ongoing basis. And I always say this term, new level, new devil. So the idea is you become the person who solves this new level problem that your customer is facing. You're always there to support them. For example, I always see that, folks who are starting out will have, how do I start the business? How do I get my website done? How do I get this tech done, right? Once you have that in place, then it's like, okay, now how do I get customers? How do I get my first client? How do I, do it on, once you start getting customers, then it's like, oh my gosh, this is too much work. I have to talk to so many people. I have to do this. Now, how do I make this happen where it's like really happening without me putting so much time in it? Now, once that happens, then it's like, okay, I'm making X amount of money. How do I strategize? What do I put on marketing? How do I strategize so I have some more savings? How do I build the team? What is the right team? So the questions you'll be asking at different stages of your business will be different. But guess what? If you, and it's for every client and customer, right? So if you are meeting your customer where they are in their journey, your profit ladder should have a solution for them where they are in their journey, whether they're first starting out, whether they are, tested and vetted the idea and they are ready to launch, whether they've launched and have a successful launch and are ready to scale. You should be figuring out what products, services can you offer in your own business, in your own services, product, other businesses where you can support them and be a part of them. So I know since most of my world is from Tony and Dean's KVB family, I know this is their profit ladder, and I've explained this a few times. They do a sales presentation and a webinar. So if you are in a services-based business, even if you're not in a services-based business, I've seen webinars and sales presentations work for product-based businesses as well, as long as they explain. They talk about the big why they're doing what they're doing, and how their products and services are changing lives, get better and bigger, right? So have a sales presentation. So that's also a critical thing. Then they sell you, as we're talking about Tony and Dean's KVB model, they sell you into a course, which is a done by yourself. So you have to basically do it by yourself on your computer, right? Then they have an upsell where you can get some group coaching from them. And they also have an upsell where you can get into their mastermind, into their one-on-one services. And then they have some VIP days and collaboration days as well. Now, if you look at how their model works, the entry point is $997, the intensive is 12 to 15,000, the inner circle is 25 to 45K, and the VIP days are 1,000 plus. If you do the math, if you have 100 people, I always say this, if you have 100 people attend your webinar and with a 10% closing rate, now you may not be Dean and Tony and you may be offering your course at $500, but if 100 people attend your sales presentation and 10 people raise their hand, that's $5,000 from that sales presentation. Now, usually 10% conversion rate, I know many skepticals out there are going to say is not possible, but through our training and our model, 10% conversion is very possible, and we've had some success where things have gone more than that. Now, from a course, you want to upsell to those that are ready, of course, into your intensive. So the statistics are 30% of those will convert. And if 30% of those converts to your upsell, which is $3,000, then that's a $9,000. And now from your upsell, if you further bring people into your mastermind, which is a year-long program or something of that sort, That's 30% of those people will convert. That's a $6,000 profit. So you get the math. So each next number is 30% conversion from there. So this one sales presentation or one webinar has the potential of generating $30,000. Now let's think through what's possible, right? So this is a possibility with a $450 offer and a $3,000 upsell and an $8,000 upsell. This one webinar can generate $21,000. Now, that's the thought I want you to gather, that you need to have a mindset where you have a core offer, work your way backwards, have a core offer which is really expensive, and then work your way backwards and say, okay, how can I do a middle tier offer? And how can I do an entry tier offer? And how can I have a front door where people come in and they have an opportunity to interact with you with all those offers? So that's the mindset I want you to have. If you do not have a profit ladder yet, you need to start building one. And amazingly, I know sometimes people who are in product businesses, they feel like, oh, we don't. But I feel the product businesses has the most potential as well, because you can bundle products. You can bundle products with your own, with other people's products. And I actually ran a vitamin company for a little while. And we started doing bundles of 3, and then subscriptions for the month and subscriptions for the year. And it's amazing what difference your revenue will see once you have those profit tiers defined. So if you don't have one, start now, start today, get one done. And once you have the profit ladder and the sales process defined, then of course you can use social media to grow your business if you don't want complicated technology. I mean, today with the iPhone, we have a technology in our hand, which is even greater than what Apollo 13 had when they went to the moon. So think through that. Once you have those essentials in place, you can use social media to grow your business even without any complex technology. So what I want you to do, and this is also in your workbook, you have a page to define 3 levels for your business. There are 3 core levels. You should each have at least 3 core levels and an entry level, which is the front door. So define 3 core levels for your business and define what dollar amount do you give to each of those levels. So make sure that you have those 3 core levels defined.
Cam, can I ask you a question?
Absolutely.
Say we have a course. We have our front door. Like for me, I have my webinar, then I have my connecting on camera course. Then level 2 would be my coaching one-on-one. Could level 3 be coaching one-on-one, but 6 months upsold from the 3 months?
You can definitely do that. You can have a 6 months program. If someone is really into video productions and doing productions, why not have a year-long contract for your client, right? Yeah. So also what you could include at some point is, because your entry point is the webinar, and then it's a course where you're actually interacting with your people, right? You can even have a low ticket offer where it is do it yourself. You can have a do it yourself and then lead it to your group coaching, then it lead it to your 3-month program or a 6-month program or a 9-month program. Because truth be told, no one is ready in a day. Yeah. There is some work and support that goes behind. And then another thought I want you to think through is, this is true. And Renee, I've been working on the camera thing for a while too. And so being persistent, being, support of the right people, guidance from the right people, knowing the right tools gives you the confidence to take that first step. And when you take that first step and it's successful, that gives you the confidence to take the next step. So it's like one step at a time, right? So having the right coaches and the right people around you makes a huge difference. So you definitely have tiers over there.
Great, thank you.
And what you asked also gave me another thought. And I just shared a stat at the beginning that 90% of the businesses fail. Do you know where the stat is reversed?
Nowhere.
The stat is reversed with franchises. 90% of the franchises are successful. A huge amount of franchises are successful. Do you know the reason why?
Because the people recognize the name and they see it over and over again. So then it's like, it's almost like the equivalent of consistency, maybe.
Well,
Do
they
you-
have marketing
because they have a
support
system.
from the corporate entity. So they have that marketing support and they just have to follow the plan. Yeah,
Okay.
no?
Okay. You know
It's
what
not-
is the number one thing that McDonald's did that made them successful, which is the first franchise model that has been successful throughout the world. They
System
created,
being equal.
they
everything.
created a
Hello.
McDonald's University. What is the focus of McDonald's University is to make sure that their people are successful because they give them the knowledge, they give them the tools and the templates and the skills needed. They give them everything possible that they need to run a business. And they do exactly what they do. They show them, you know, this is how we're doing it. This is the testing of the market we've done. These are the messages we feel that have resonated. Go use them, right? This is how we train our employees. This is the process and procedure to train the employees and test if they're working, to make sure they're accountable, to make sure they're vested, right? We have tested it all. Hey, by the way, use it. And here's the tools and the process and the sheets and everything, that checklist that you need to do it, right? That makes it easy, makes it simple, makes it possible for them. They have the resources when they need it. They have the support when they need it. They have the community when they need it, which if you're an entrepreneur by yourself, you're out there by yourself, you are trying to figure it out all by yourself. You're testing it all by yourself. So that's where that support and the community and the McDonald's University model is the reason why the stats have flipped. And it's the reason why it's made such a huge difference. And that's why I'm such a big proponent of like having an organization, having something that supports entrepreneurs without having a franchise. Now there's always give and take, right? In my mind, I feel like franchise model is limited for me. Like this, again, it's a belief, and people can buy into that belief or not buy into that belief because A, you have to follow what they say. B,
Right.
everything you do, you're sharing your revenue cut with them. You're doing the hard work, but you're sharing the revenue cut with them at all the time, right? And oftentimes I feel, and this is how I define it, buying a franchise is like buying a job. So you end up, yes, it's successful, but it's not a crazy big visionary, you know, we are the crazy ones. We're the ones who challenge the status quo. It doesn't give me the satisfaction of that, right? So as an entrepreneur, as a business owner, oftentimes it's limiting. So if you're going after that, so the way I proceeded was, okay, let me find others who have done the entrepreneur journey. What have they learned through the process? What can I learn from them and model it in my business, right? Which is
Right.
what our fearless leader, Tony Robbins, tells us to do all the time. Find someone who's done what you do, model their success, figure out what they're doing. So anyways, I got on a little different tangent there, but it just sparked that thought in me as I was talking to you, Ruben. So if you don't have a profit ladder, you need to build one, get one ready right now, use your workbook and put the 3 offer levels in there for you. And then finally, you need to know your numbers, because eventually how you measure progress is going to be through your numbers, right? So have a core offer and what's the value for the core offer. Know what annual revenue you want. Divide that annual revenue by 12 to get your monthly revenue. If you know what your core offer is, then you should be able to figure out how many sales do you need to make in a month to get that revenue, right? So let's keep it very simple. Let's say your core offer is $1,000 and you need a monthly revenue of $10,000. So how many sales do we need? 10 sales, right?
Mm.
10 times 1,000 is 10,000. So you know, to keep it simple, $1,000 value, 10 sales gives me a revenue of $10,000 a month. Now you just multiply it by 12 to get your annual numbers and know your conversion rate. Like I said before, especially with us at Small Business Hub, the conversion rate with Build to Profit team, I help people get at least 10% conversion rate. So if you're looking at 10% conversion rate, so to get 10 sales, you need to talk to, this is on the next slide. So in order to make 10 sales, you need to have 100 prospects. So you need to have 100 prospects every month to make 10 sales. So you know your numbers. So I want clarity on that. Keep in your head, how many people am I gonna have at my sales presentation, at my webinar, at my freebie, at my 101? If you want to talk 101, that's fine. That's like 4 people a day, I think, 4 or 5 people a day. That'll get you to that number. That's fine. But know how many people. Because if you know how many people you need to talk to, if you know how many people need to show up for your sales presentation, for your numbers, then you will know if you're going to get the amount of sales that you want to meet your monthly revenue goals. And if you're meeting your monthly revenue goals, then you'll know that you'll meet your annual revenue goals. So it's like measure daily to ensure that you're successful on a weekly, monthly, annual basis. So know your numbers. Now I know the only variables here are your conversion rate and your core offer value, because everything else is fluid. That's going to change and you can figure things out. So I encourage people, at least have a $497 core value, because if you just are working with $97, $87 to $97 core value offer, it's going to be very, very hard to scale. At least have a $497, but ideally $997 or higher for your core value offer. And then we'll talk about how do you validate that offer? Like, how do you gain confidence and to presenting that offer to people and all that. We'll talk as we go through this journey over the next 5 days. But these are your numbers. So know your numbers. Make sure that you know the number of prospects, number of sales, and the monthly and the annual revenue goals. That's the big vision you're going to.
Yeah, just really quickly. So the number of sales versus the number of prospects. So we have our revenue, our annual revenue, say, $250,000 a year. And then the monthly would be around 20,833. So then you break that down, and to get the number of sales, that would be like 503 sales.
Depending on what is your value, core price, right? So if you use $497, then yep. And you are in the VIP, so you'll have a spreadsheet, but I can do the quick math in terms of like, let's say your value was 100. Let's start with $1,000, right? So at $1,000, if you wanted 20K revenue, then you need at least 20 sales, right? In a month. And if you need 20 sales and at a 10% conversion rate, then you need to have 200 people that you're talking to or presenting your offer.
Got it. Okay. I was just confused with when you said the number of prospects. Now I get it.
Right. So number of prospects are the number of people that you need to talk to when you bring your offer to them, right? So now you can divide that by 2 because you were 497. So
yep.
Cam, a quick question.
Multiply by 2. Yes.
You mentioned measure daily, and you said you have a spreadsheet. So basically input those numbers in on a daily basis?
No, when I say measure daily, like it's a mindset thing, right? So what I wanted to say was measure frequently, right? If you want to, each person can have their own model, right? Like even for daily checklists, some people go through their checklist every day, and I like things that are routine for me, I don't go through the checklist, but the things that are high priority enter my checklist, because I find writing those things down is actually wasting my time. Then, I only write high priority items. So it's a mindset. But what I want you to walk away is you do what works for you. But if you have a target monthly goal, it's not a good idea to look at it at the end of the month. Right? So whether you want to look at it at a weekly basis, whether you want to evaluate it twice a week, whether you want to evaluate it every day, like you do you. Like for me, everyone knows I run Facebook ads for people, right? When I start an ad, I am on it like a hawk, because I want to see, is it getting the impressions that it needs? How is it moving forward? The first few days, I'll be like, following it, right? But after a while, once it starts performing, then I'm like, okay, I can loosen a bit. I can see it every 2 days now, so the whole thought process is, and you'll change your measuring strategy based on how things are progressing and what you feel is intention, more important to measure. But the idea is, don't measure at the end of the month. If you have monthly revenue goals, and what you'll be measuring will change as well. It'll change drastically, right? The first time we do something, we say, oh, I need 200 people to present, right? To present to, right? Once you get 200 people, then you'll say, oh, they were not the right people. Now you see where I'm going, the new level, new devil. When you get 200 people, then you'll really start figuring it out. Okay, now your energy first was spent on getting those 200 people to you. Now your energy will be spent on, how do I pre-qualify these people so those 200 people are the right people? They're right fit people coming to me, right? And once you get that happening, then you'll be like, oh, are they converting? Are they converting at 10% or not? How do I change my sales process so they're converting more? So what you're measuring may change, how you're measuring may change over time, but measure on a frequent basis. Does that answer your question, Mariam?
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Okay, so now that we know our numbers, we have some numbers to work with. Like I said, the only variables are your core offer price and your conversion rate. Everything else you should have some set targets for based on your revenue. So that was Profit Essential number 3. And now I know we are about the hour mark. All our VIPs will head into the working session, and we'll actually start building your core offers, your profit pyramid, your why, and starting to shine some light on your own numbers. Now, for those of you who are not VIPs and would like to unlock the VIP level, on this post, we'll put a link out there. If you're interested, you're more than welcome to unlock it. And it's not just monetary, there are other ways to unlock it, so reach out to us. And I wanted to end with what our belief is, what Small Business Hub believes in. My big belief is that small businesses can achieve big profits, and they can do so through knowledge, through automations, through the support of a community, through masterminding with people, through encouraging people. And that's totally possible, because today we have all the tools, all the things that we need. So I want to believe with people to believe into that possibility. And I want to say, like, yes, only you can do the work. You have to do the work. So this is not some get rich quick scheme, like, try this and dollars are going to be floating down your, home and like a hose. That's not how it is. It is like getting 2% better every day. So by day 60, you're 200% better. And that's totally possible if you do the work. And only you can do the work, but you don't have to do it alone. That's my promise to you. And I want to say, yes, you can do it. Certainly can do it. So start today, start now. And those of my VIPs, will see you shortly.
Okay, now how do I get my calendar?